YNW Melly back in court today. His attorney saying the state has not given enough evidence to this point to keep him in jail, but prosecutors say they have proven plenty that shows he needs to remain behind bars.
Breaking news. And when I say breaking, I mean shattering the internet like a dropped iPhone screen. YNW Melly, the man whose trial had more twists than a Netflix thriller, is reportedly free. Yes, you heard that right. Free. And the rap world just went into full-blown meltdown mode. The reactions, pure chaos. Rappers crying, laughing, tweeting cryptic emojis like it's the end of civilization. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, they're all on fire. This isn't just another rapper gets out story. This is 2025's biggest plot twist, the kind that makes the Kardashians' drama look like a preschool playdate. Fans are treating it like the second coming of Tupac, while haters are demanding FBI Wi-Fi passwords. And in the middle of it all, Melly, smiling like he just walked out of a movie he starred in and directed. Whispers are swirling. Deals behind closed doors. Evidence vanished. Witnesses gone. MIA. How did this even happen? Who pulled the strings? This isn't freedom. It's a statement. And tonight, we're unpacking every shocking reaction, every viral tweet, every jaw-dropping secret the industry doesn't want you to hear. Buckle up, because this story's about to explode. The moment the words YNW Melly is free hit social media, the internet practically levitated. You could almost hear every group chat, every podcast host, every Twitter space gasping in unison. It wasn't just a news drop, it was a digital earthquake. One of the most controversial figures in modern hip-hop had allegedly walked out of the legal maze that everyone swore he'd never escape. For years, memes called him rap's ghost of the courtroom, and yet here he was, stepping back into the sunlight like a plot twist even Hollywood wouldn't dare write. Let's rewind. The YNW Melly case wasn't just another rapper in trouble headline. It was a full-blown cultural obsession. Courtroom footage became reaction video gold. Legal analysts were moonlighting as YouTubers. Even your aunt, who doesn't know what a YNW is, had an opinion about it. This wasn't just about crime or justice. It became a pop culture circus. And now, after years of evidence lists, retrials, jury dramas, and a never-ending flood of speculation, the verdict that no one saw coming landed like a nuclear bomb. Melly's free. Fans erupted like champagne corks on New Year's Eve. Within seconds, the Melly Free 2025 was trending across every platform. Instagram Lives popped up faster than bot comments on a Drake post. One second you saw rappers throwing parties. The next you saw critics calling it the biggest judicial magic trick since OJ. Memes were flooding the timeline. Someone even edited Melly's mugshot over the "He's free" scene from The Shawshank Redemption. Internet chaos has never looked so entertaining. But here's where it got even more suspicious. The paperwork surrounding the release, confidential. The statement from the court, minimal. It was as if the legal system just shrugged and said, "He's out, deal with it." And that's when the theories started cooking hotter than a summer barbecue. Some swore the evidence got tampered with. Others whispered that key witnesses went ghost. A few even said this was part of a secret deal, that Melly had dirt on people in high places. The deeper you looked, the murkier it got. Meanwhile, Melly wasn't hiding. Oh no, he went full movie villain mode. Within hours of the announcement, he posted a clip of himself grinning ear to ear with the caption, "Told y'all I'd be home soon." That one post sent his fans into cardiac arrest. The comment section turned into a digital riot. Half pure joy, half disbelief. "Ain't no way this real," one fan wrote. "This man beat the system like it owed him money," another commented. And honestly, it felt true. The rap community was equally divided. Some artists immediately congratulated him, calling it a win for the culture. Others went dead silent, clearly unsure whether to post balloons or lawyer memes. One producer went live saying, "If Melly can walk free, I'm checking my horoscope before I pay rent." Sarcasm became the coping mechanism of the week. Even the hip-hop gossip pages, usually bloodhounds for the tiniest clue, were baffled. The vibe was half celebration, half suspicion, and all drama. Then came the interviews. Every podcast host with a microphone suddenly became a legal expert. Conspiracy theories piled higher than designer sneakers. People compared the case to everything, from Making a Murderer to Breaking Bad. "He's the Walter White of rap," someone declared on X. Except the only thing he's cooking now is freedom. Whether you believed he was innocent or not, you couldn't look away. What made this even wilder was the timing. The industry was in chaos already. Beefs brewing, album leaks everywhere, lawsuits flying left and right. And now, this. Melly's name was suddenly everywhere again, like 2019 never ended. For younger fans who'd grown up on clips of his trial, this was like watching a ghost reappear. Older heads were debating if the system had just given up, or if something deeper was playing out behind closed doors. Everyone had a theory, and none of them matched. And yet, behind the laughter and disbelief, there was this strange undertone. An unspoken question. What does this mean for rap? Because Melly wasn't just any artist. He represented the wild, unpredictable edge of the genre. His case blurred the line between art and reality, between storytelling and self-incrimination. And now, with his freedom, that line was completely erased. The internet started treating his release like a symbol, a message that no matter how deep you fall, fame still rewrites the rules. Meanwhile, the memes just wouldn't stop. TikTokers were making edits of Melly stepping out to "Locked Up" by Akon. Twitter was a battlefield of hot takes. "He's the Houdini of hip-hop," someone posted. "More like the plot armor king," another replied. People who'd never streamed a YNW Melly track were suddenly experts in his discography. The man became both a punchline and a legend overnight. And while all this chaos unfolded online, word on the street was that Melly's inner circle had been planning this moment for months. Insiders hinted that his team had been unusually confident lately, that they knew something the public didn't. One source even said they were already booking studio time before the official release hit the news. It was like everyone else was shocked, but Melly's camp, they were just waiting for the countdown to hit 0. But with freedom came the fire. Journalists started digging again. Some pointed to old court documents, others to missing testimonies. One outlet even claimed that a key piece of evidence was inconclusive due to chain of custody errors. Translation: something got lost, or someone wanted it lost. The internet spun that detail like a fidget spinner. Was this incompetence, or was this influence? And that question fueled the biggest social media storm since Kanye's presidential run. By the end of the day, everyone had picked a side. To some, Melly was a symbol of perseverance, proof that loyalty, faith, and a little chaos could conquer anything. To others, he was a reminder of everything wrong with celebrity privilege. And the debate wasn't polite. It was a digital brawl. Fans versus critics, stan pages versus journalists, all fighting over one name that refused to stay buried. And through all of it, Melly's silence was louder than any statement. No interviews, no explanations, no apologies. Just cryptic posts, sly smiles, and the kind of aura that says, "I know something you don't." It was mystery marketing at its finest, turning uncertainty into momentum, controversy into currency. Love him or hate him, YNW Melly had just pulled off the biggest Houdini act hip-hop had ever seen. But if you thought this was the end of the story, oh, you'd be dead wrong. Because while fans were busy celebrating his freedom, something darker was brewing beneath the headlines. A series of leaked messages, unseen footage, and whispers from the industry hinted that this freedom came with strings attached. And those strings, they were about to yank the entire rap world into chaos. The world was still trying to process it. YNW Melly, free and smiling like a man who just cheated death twice, when the rap scene completely imploded. One minute it was celebration and champagne emojis. The next, it turned into a full-blown digital war zone. Rappers started choosing sides faster than NBA teams after a trade deadline. Some called it divine justice, others called it a glitch in the matrix. Twitter threads read like FBI files mixed with fan fiction. Everyone suddenly had inside info. Everyone had a friend in the courthouse, and nobody could prove a thing. That's when the reactions started rolling in. And oh boy, they were wild enough to make reality TV jealous. Boozy went live first, of course, shouting, "I told y'all!" The system can't hold a real one down. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was posting cryptic memes like a chaotic uncle at a barbecue, hinting that Melly knew too much. Lil Durk dropped a single emoji, the wide-eye one, and that alone broke comment sections. Even DJ Academics nearly combusted on his livestream trying to explain how this changes everything. It was like watching the internet collectively short-circuit in disbelief. But not everyone was cheering. Some rappers went radio silent. Others started posting Bible verses like they were witnessing a modern miracle. A few couldn't resist throwing shade. Subtle captions like, "The game rigged," or "Innocent until proven famous." You could feel the tension dripping through every post. One thing was clear. Melly's release had split the hip-hop community right down the middle. It wasn't just about the case anymore. It was about power, loyalty, and who really runs the streets versus who runs the headlines. And the memes. They went nuclear. Within hours, TikTok was flooded with edits of Melly walking out of jail to Bad Boys for Life. Someone deep-faked him into scenes from Prison Break, another into Fast and Furious, calling it too free, too furious. Even Snoop Dogg reposted one, laughing so hard he captioned it, "This can't be real life." But that was the thing. It was real, and that made it even crazier. The memes became a coping mechanism for a fan base that didn't know whether to celebrate or question reality. Then came the leaks. Because no rap scandal is complete without sources close to the situation. One anonymous insider claimed that the real reason Melly was released was due to procedural mishandling of digital evidence. Another said, new testimony changed the entire trajectory of the case. Translation: nobody knew what actually happened, but everyone was confident they did. Fans started comparing court documents like detectives on Reddit. It was less a fan base and more a digital CSI squad, dissecting every word like it held the secrets of the Illuminati. As if the confusion wasn't enough, Melly decided to fuel it himself. He hopped on Instagram Live, sitting in a luxury car with the kind of grin that could launch 10,000 conspiracy theories. "They tried to stop me," he said, "but God got different plans." The chat went berserk. Over 200,000 people tuned in, spamming emojis in disbelief. Someone commented, "Bro talking like a movie character." And honestly, he was. It felt scripted, like he was aware of the myth he'd become, feeding into it with every smirk. Meanwhile, rival rappers couldn't help but capitalize. Diss tracks dropped within 48 hours. One underground artist released a track called Free-ish, mocking the situation with bars like, "Beat the case, beat the odds, beat the timeline too." It went viral overnight. Others weren't so playful. Some called out the justice system. Others called out Melly himself. It was messy, petty, and utterly addictive to watch. Hip-hop wasn't just reacting. It was rewriting itself in real time, turning courtroom drama into cultural currency. The media, of course, went into frenzy mode. TMZ was camping outside Melly's house like it was Area 51. Legal experts were on every podcast giving 10 different interpretations of the same piece of paper. Late-night hosts even jumped in. Jimmy Kimmel joked, "Melly got out faster than my Uber order." Every network wanted a piece of the chaos. Every commentator wanted the scoop. The whole thing stopped being a legal story and became entertainment. The biggest, "Did that just happen?" moment of the decade. And then, the plot twist inside the plot twist. A mysterious tweet appeared from an account claiming to be part of Melly's legal team. The tweet read, "Freedom isn't free. Deals were made." Within minutes, it was deleted, but screenshots spread faster than wildfire. People lost their minds. Was it real? A hacker? A distraction? Nobody knew, but everyone had an opinion. The idea that Melly's freedom came with conditions became the hottest rumor in the rap world. Suddenly, the question wasn't just how he got out. It was what he gave up to do it. That theory opened Pandora's box. Fans speculated he had snitched. Others claimed he took the fall for something bigger. Some wild souls even said he made a deal with the Illuminati. Because of course, when in doubt, blame the Illuminati. Conspiracy threads on Reddit exploded overnight. Charts, timelines, mysterious symbolism in his lyrics. It was all there. You couldn't scroll for 5 minutes without tripping over a new truth. And through all this madness, Melly kept posting, living like a man reborn. Lavish dinners, studio sessions, even teasing a new album called Resurrection. Subtle, right? Every move felt deliberate, like he was crafting the legend in real time. One story showed him in the studio saying, "They wanted to bury me but forgot I'm the seed." Fans went insane over that line. Within hours, Resurrection 2025 was trending. The man wasn't just free, he was controlling the narrative like a puppet master. But every comeback has a price. Journalists started digging deeper, uncovering inconsistencies in the court timeline. Some claimed the judge had been under pressure. Others said key testimony was sealed indefinitely. Lawyers debated ethics. Fans debated everything else. It was chaos wrapped in confusion, served with a side of disbelief. Even law students were writing essays about the case, calling it a cultural phenomenon disguised as justice. Meanwhile, Melly's peers couldn't escape the spotlight either. Artists who had once distanced themselves were now being dragged for switching up. Old tweets resurfaced. Screenshots of DMs started circulating. Suddenly, everyone had receipts. The internet doesn't forget, and the fans were relentless. One post showed a rapper celebrating Melly's freedom next to a screenshot of him dissing Melly 3 years earlier. The hypocrisy became its own meme. Rappers switching sides like Wi-Fi signals. And the wildest part? The more chaotic it got, the bigger Melly's streaming numbers became. Every headline, every controversy, every meme, it all drove listeners back to his music. Songs that had been collecting digital dust were now topping playlists again. Spotify charts looked like a resurrection, no pun intended. The industry could barely keep up. Record execs were reportedly calling him a marketing anomaly, while fans just called him invincible. By the time the dust began to settle, it was clear this wasn't just another viral moment. This was a full-scale cultural reset. YNW Melly wasn't just free. He was reborn as the most polarizing figure in hip-hop. Love him or hate him, you couldn't ignore him. The man who once symbolized tragedy had turned himself into a walking headline generator. But as the noise got louder, whispers started to resurface about secret meetings, altered testimonies, and favors owed. Some people close to the case were hinting that this freedom came with a countdown. That maybe, just maybe, the story wasn't over. It was only halfway written. And if that's true, the next chapter might make this chaos look like child's play. By the time the dust settled, it felt like the entire world had been dragged into the YNW Melly multiverse. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone was sure they were right, and no one actually knew the truth. But the one thing no one could deny, Melly was back, bigger, bolder, and more unpredictable than ever. His return had the same energy as a Marvel villain post-credit scene, the kind that makes fans cheer and critics panic. Because let's be real, when someone dodges a double life sentence like a Wi-Fi glitch, the world doesn't just forget, it obsesses. Within a week of his release, Melly's team announced a documentary deal. The title, The Truth They Tried to Bury. The irony alone broke the internet. The teaser clip featured slow-motion shots, courtroom snippets, and Melly's grin plastered across the screen like a man who knows exactly how much chaos he's causing. "They wrote me off," his voice said in the trailer, but I held the pen. Boom, mic drop. The internet collectively lost its mind. Every news outlet covered it. Every YouTuber analyzed it frame by frame. And every rapper suddenly remembered they had nothing but love for Melly. But fame doesn't come without fire. As the hype grew, so did the backlash. Victims' families started speaking out, calling his release a slap in the face to justice. Advocacy groups flooded timelines with hashtags demanding a reinvestigation. Even some of his fans began to question how something this controversial could just vanish from the legal system. Yet for every critic, there were 10 supporters ready to defend him like a religion. "He's been through hell and came back clean," one fan tweeted. If that's not divine, what is? The debate wasn't fading, it was evolving. Meanwhile, Melly was working overtime to feed the narrative. He dropped a freestyle on YouTube just days after walking free. A haunting, boastful track called Not Dead Yet. The beat was cold, the bars were bold, and the message was clear. He wasn't hiding. He was reclaiming his throne. The opening line alone, "They prayed for my downfall. I prayed for better lawyers," instantly became a viral caption. Fans started using it on Instagram, TikTok, and even merch sites. In the chaos of controversy, Melly had done the impossible, turned scandal into marketing gold. But the music wasn't the only thing trending. Behind the scenes, stories were leaking that major labels were fighting for his next album rights. Industry insiders whispered about multi-million-dollar deals, sponsorships, even fashion collabs. It was like watching a phoenix rise from ashes made of legal paperwork. Still, not everyone was buying it. One anonymous exec told a podcast, "This ain't redemption, this is rebranding." And honestly, they weren't wrong. Melly's freedom had turned into the most profitable narrative in hip-hop since Kanye's Genius era. Then came the reunion stream. Melly hopped on Instagram Live again, this time surrounded by his crew, wearing a diamond-studded cross and an expression that screamed untouchable. "They can't cage real," he said, and the chat exploded. Over 500,000 people tuned in. Comments flew like confetti. "Legend! You beat the odds. God's child." But mixed in were darker ones. "Justice for the victims. This ain't right." It was chaos. A digital battlefield between believers and skeptics, faith and fury. And Melly? He thrived on it. Every second of attention was oxygen. Meanwhile, the industry fallout began. Artists who once called Melly a brother were now distancing themselves, terrified of public backlash. Collaborations got postponed, interviews got rescheduled, and PR teams started working overtime. Even streaming platforms faced pressure to remove his music, which of course only made fans stream him more. Nothing fuels rebellion like censorship. The numbers went crazy. His older songs, Murder on My Mind, Mixed Personalities, Suicidal, shot back up the charts like rockets. It was a PR paradox. The more they tried to silence him, the louder his legacy grew. But something darker was creeping beneath the glitter. Reports surfaced that people connected to the original case were suddenly unavailable for comment. Some had moved. Some had lost contact. Some flat out disappeared from the internet. The whispers got louder. Too many coincidences. Too much silence. Reddit detectives dug deep, uncovering eerie details, like timestamps that didn't match and inconsistencies in the case filings. It was as if someone had rewritten the story mid-chapter and dared the world to notice. Then, one night, Melly dropped a tweet that sent shockwaves. "They thought I was free. I'm just getting started." The tweet vanished minutes later, but screenshots spread like wildfire. Fans took it as a flex. Critics took it as a confession. It became the most discussed 140 characters in music that week. And just like that, the line between redemption and recklessness blurred again. While fans were celebrating his comeback, insiders claimed there were new investigations quietly unfolding. Different jurisdiction, same old ghosts. Some journalists hinted that the case wasn't officially closed, just concluded for now. Translation: the door was still open, and the storm could return any minute. But Melly didn't seem worried. If anything, he seemed to enjoy taunting fate. Every post, every lyric, every smirk was a reminder. This man doesn't play by the rules. He rewrites them, and then came the collaborations. The ultimate irony. Artists who once side-eyed his name were now rushing to record with him. Studio leaks hinted at a massive project featuring some of the biggest names in rap. The logic was simple. Controversy sells, and Melly was the most controversial figure alive. Fans were calling it the Redemption Tape, but skeptics had a better name: the Evidence Mixtape. The hype was unstoppable. The culture couldn't decide whether to crown him or cancel him. You had pastors referencing his case in sermons, college kids writing essays about the ethics of fame, and conspiracy TikTokers swearing his smile had Illuminati geometry. The internet had officially lost its collective mind. And through it all, Melly kept feeding the flames. Not running from the storm, but dancing in it. He didn't just beat the case, he turned the aftermath into a spectacle. By now, 2025 wasn't just Melly's comeback year. It was the year rap's moral compass got spun like a fidget spinner. The question wasn't, is he guilty, anymore. It was, does it even matter? The industry had turned morality into marketing, controversy into cash, and tragedy into trend. And Melly? He was the poster child for it all. The man who turned courtroom bars into platinum bars. As the documentary teaser hit 10 million views in under a week, one final twist hit the rumor mill. Whispers that Melly had filmed the ending before the verdict. If true, it meant he had predicted, or planned, his freedom long before it happened. Was it genius or manipulation? Nobody knew. But one thing was clear: YNW Melly wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was a myth, a living cliffhanger. Because while the world debated his innocence, Melly was already working on Act 2. And if Act 1 broke the internet, Act 2 might burn it to the ground. So, after everything, the memes, the chaos, the courtroom shocks, and the comeback nobody saw coming, one thing's crystal clear: 2025 belongs to YNW Melly. Whether you think he's the luckiest man alive or the boldest plot twist since Thanos snapped, you can't deny he just hijacked hip-hop history. The man didn't just walk free, he strutted out like the main character in a universe that refuses to make sense. But before you dip out to argue in the comments, let's be real. This story isn't ending here. Every time we think it's over, Melly drops another clue, another post, another reason for the internet to lose its mind. You know, something even crazier is brewing behind the scenes. Maybe it's new music. Maybe it's another twist. Maybe it's both. Whatever it is, we'll be right here, breaking it down like the rap world's TMZ on caffeine. So if you've been hooked, laughing, or low-key screaming at your screen, smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe before the next scandal drops, because around here, the drama never sleeps. From courtroom chaos to celebrity meltdowns, the rap truth is where every secret eventually leaks. Turn on those notifications, grab your popcorn, and stay tuned. Because in this industry, freedom is just the teaser trailer. The real movie, it's still coming. This is the Rap Truth, signing off, where legends rise, lies fall, and the truth always slaps harder than a diss track. Slaps harder than a diss track.